I'm pretty good at mimicking accents, but this one here was just ridiculous, having to learn how to do this accent. It took me an entire hour of listening to John Bravo to get the voice just right for the video. So I hope you listen. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, because we're going to be talking all about Wes Watson and Jack Doherty. Everybody's going to know who he is immediately when he hits the pound, and they're going to hear about his little adventure with the Island Boys that are known to kiss on each other, and that's not going to go down very well with those white boys in there. This guy Jack Doherty is just running around being obnoxious in public and giving the cops probable cause to search him because he's doing illegal stuff. Well, while you're doing stupid illegal stuff, you end up having drugs on your person. Jack Doherty's running all over the place at TwitchCon when he wasn't even invited in there. He didn't have permission to be in there. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's banned from there. But either way, he was in there without express authorization. After being removed by security, local law enforcement got involved. This asshole here continued to run his mouth. Finally found himself in a pair of handcuffs. And it gets even worse. They found him with drug paraphernalia. This little broccoli-haired guy is gonna have a rough time in the Florida Department of Corrections if he keeps this up. But it's okay, because his big war daddy Wes is gonna probably keep him safe. That is until they find out that, according to rumor, Wes Watson likes getting. This is me in the Administrative Management Unit 2022. People want to talk crap and, oh, you've never been to prison. If you want to pause, you can pause and read the whole thing. These are my credentials. I was in the Administrative Management of the Florida Department of Corrections. It is the opinion of the Florida Department of Corrections that I had a leadership position in a security threat group organization, right? So that's Florida Department of Corrections saying that. You got a lot of people that are in this comment section, oh, what does this person know? This person's never even been to prison. And yet my paperwork is better than JD, it's better than Wes Watson, it's better than any of these guys. That's actually the truth. They've intercepted kites that inmates are sending each other where they referenced me as Commander J, okay? Alright, so I just want to roll this all up into one video. Jack Doherty, Wes Watson, Island Boys, this is the Miami people, bro. And when I say the Miami people, I don't mean people that were born and raised in Miami. I meant people that moved to Miami thinking that it's like, you know how there's people that like move to LA thinking there's some gleaming light for them, and like that you have people. Miami is where people go to fuck up, like big time, okay? As far as the Island Boys and as far as Jack Doherty, these are very small dudes, and I don't think they really know how to fight. I don't think so. And even if they do, like, I just don't think, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know if they're gang affiliated or not. I know the Island Boys have apparently, on video, they've made out, which is like incest and gay, which like is not a very good look for prison. Like a lot of the gangs wouldn't like that. So the Island Boys, not sure they're gonna do that well in there. I don't know, bro. Maybe the jitterbugs will like them. Maybe they'll get some protection from one of these little jit cliques in there. And you know, they exist. You have these little jit cliques, and you got these little gangs, mostly gangs from Jacksonville. One of those little young Jacksonville gangs might take care of them in there, especially if they pay rent, basically. You know, most celebrities in prison do pay rent. They usually get some bodyguards in there, but it's a different kind of rent than some random child molester in there. If you got like a random chomo in there, like it's not the same as like a celebrity paying rent and like a chomo paying rent is like two different categories. An actual celebrity, he's got like some bodyguards and some clout, and some people are going to come to his defense for free because they think there's like career opportunities and shit like that for this person when they get out. So if you got a famous person in prison, like if you look out for them, they might look out for you, you know, in very significant ways. So that naturally gives people somewhat of an aura of protection. Now, you know, so as far as Jack Doherty and as far as the Island Boys, they're young, they're impulsive, they're stupid, and like they're not big dudes, and I don't think they would not be taken very seriously in prison. Like on the rec yard, these people would be like looked at kind of funny. You know what I mean? But for the fact that they're famous, I don't know, that kind of changes the equation a little bit. They might do okay because they're famous. Maybe. It depends on how stupid they act. But from what I've seen, these people act stupid. You know, like the Island Boys, they kept basically trying to get Wes mad. And in the video that I saw, you know he's insecure about being 6 feet tall. This whole little crew down in Miami, I think they're all going to prison, and I think like it's not so much that I think they're going to have the hardest time ever in prison, because I mean that's what J.D. DeLay and John Bravo is saying and all that. To be honest, I think they have money, so they're going to be straight. You know what I mean? And Wes Watson, yeah, he's false claiming Aryan Brotherhood, but he's not going to a place where there's Aryan Brotherhood. He's going to Florida Department of Corrections, and there's Unforgiven in there. They don't give a shit about if he false claim Aryan Brotherhood or not, because that's not really their problem. And Wes Watson has tons of money, and like I'm sure Unforgiven will let him hang the fuck out. I'm sure they will, because he's good business. And Unforgiven, I know firsthand. I know Unforgiven, you know, they got a lot of tattoo artists, Unforgiven, right? I've gotten like, you guys have seen my tattoos. I've gotten a lot of tattoos from Unforgiven, right? And, you know, if you're good business and you got an issue with somebody else, but it's really none of their business, and the issue that you have is in a whole other state, the only way this could go sideways is if the AB wants to take issue with this to the point where they literally put a hit out on Wes and pay the Unforgiven to kill Wes. But realistically, Wes is probably good business, and I'm not sure as far as like Jack Doherty. Bro, I don't think he's going to do so well in there, just because I think he's an idiot, and I think he's going to run his mouth in there. That's what I think. You know what I mean? I think he's going to pay rent in there, but I think he's going to run his mouth, and he's going to run his mouth, and the wrong Haitian is going to like take exception, because there's some Haitians in there that are, I mean, there's some Jamaicans and Haitians and Cubans in there, and there's people from all over the world in there, because people go to Miami to fuck up. It's exactly what Jack is doing. Exactly what Wes is doing. Well, guess what? There's people from Eastern Europe. Bro, there's like real life Nico Bellic people in there. You remember like Nico Bellic? Yeah, there's real life Nico Bellic in there. Okay? You got Serbians, you got Croatians, you got Cubans, you got Haitians, you got Mexicans, you got MS-13 in there, you got Sur-13 in there, you got Sureños in there, you got Norteños in there, you got Nietas in there, you got Gangster Disciples in there, Crips, Bloods, Folks, GDs, you got every gang you can imagine in there. And you have people that like to stab people in there. And you got people that secretly, they like doing time in close management, and they're looking for somebody to stab so they can go hang out in CM1 and hang out in close management. Because they know that they'll get 2 years of relaxing in close management if they stab somebody. And that's the truth of Florida Department of Corrections, bro. Oh, I get to go hang out for 2 years in close management and read books and shit and get some private time if I stab somebody. And they know it, right? A lot of people like doing time on CM. And they like getting paid for a hit. So if you're broke and you want to go to CM, and you got a long sentence, like a life sentence or something, you're going to pick up a knife and you're going to go stab somebody. And you're going to get the prison reputation of being the guy that stabbed somebody. So if you're rich and famous and you like to run your mouth, and you're like somebody like Jack Doherty, who's an easy little target, you might get sliced up, even if you're paying for protection. Because the protection you're paying for might be a gang that another gang doesn't like anyway. I mean, for real. I mean, you might be paying the U.S. for protection. Well, what if the U.S. are currently at war with another gang, and that other gang is like, okay, well, you know, they don't care if you're providing protection for them or not. It doesn't matter. You know. So again, there's competing interests in there, and you can navigate it and you can survive it, sure. But I don't know if Jack Doherty or these Island Boys guys have the attention span, have the ability to like not learn these lessons the hard way. I think he's used to an extremely high standard of living, and I think there's going to be a kind of a culture shock of him going from having everything to having nothing. And I know this because I was in house arrest in 2019, and I violated my house arrest, got locked up, and next thing you know, like I'm in a cell with nothing. I go from being extremely comfortable and having all my computers, all my electronics and all my computers, eating all my favorite food, having control of the air conditioning and all that. I go from that to being in a cell with nothing, right? And that's like a gigantic culture shock. You fall a lot harder. If you're a homeless person and you're used to having nothing, going to jail is not that big of a deal. It's actually more traumatic for like a famous person or a wealthy person to go to jail. It really is, because you go from having you're spoiled and you're used to having the whole world, and you go from having the whole world to having nothing. So it's like boom, it's a fall, bro.